Hello and welcome to this week's No Access Required. It's a beautiful morning here in the UK. I've got my cuppa in hand. Excuse me for a moment. Oh, tea. And as I sit here and the sun shines through the window, I'm thinking, even though the world is a bit of a shit show right now, it's not all bad. Asha Sharma turned up at Xbox and basically shouted, "Follow me!" And everyone, it seems, is happy to follow her. And based on what I've currently seen so far, I won't be far behind. Now, I've gone on at length here about CEOs being good people but terrible humans, and we've yet to see how Asha Sharma shakes out in the personality and human stakes. But as CEOs go at the start of their tenure, she's not doing half bad. Sony, on the other hand, massive layoffs, and then immediately afterwards acquired an AI studio. Why? That came out of the blue. Well, yes and no, but that for me isn't the real story. The problem, as I see it, is this. Sony, of late, have been reactionary. They're not leading the way and haven't been leading the way for quite some time. Everything that they do is jumping on somebody else's bandwagon. Sadly for Sony, other people get there first, and Sony, displaying typical Oriental cautiousness, jump on all guns blazing, only to find that the engine's missing. Yep, the train has left the station. And Sony, after throwing much time and money at the endeavour, find themselves in a very tough place. And now with the acquisition of this AI company, one is left with the distinct impression that as Asha Sharma has joined Xbox and appears to be firing on all barrels simultaneously very accurately, Sony, not wishing to display their usual cautiousness, have shouted,
"Let's get an AI company!"
And so that's exactly what they've done. It seems, in a direct reflection of what Asha Sharma is doing at Xbox, Sony have decided they need their own AI expert, or, in this case, experts. But here's the problem. If you haven't earned the understanding, you can't possibly hope to wield the meaning. And AI will just be another thing that Sony potentially dives into headfirst with great gusto, only to find there's no water in the pool. Sony needs to stop copying other people's homework. The corporate dream of big bucks for zero effort, i.e. stealing someone else's idea or at the very least copying somebody else's idea in the hope of garnering some of that audience, is really quite a pipe dream. But I can't say I blame them entirely. Oriental cultures throughout history have done one thing very, very well. They take other people's technology and improve upon it. But this isn't technology. This isn't building something with nuts and bolts. We're talking about creative endeavour. And Sony needs to earn that understanding of its creative endeavour by effectively being creative. By ploughing its own furrow. By following its own path. By laying its own tracks. There's an old saying that says, you can't bullshit a bullshitter. And, to be fair, we've all indulged in a little bullshittery from time to time, and so we can spot bullshit. And what Sony are doing is the corporate equivalent of bullshit. It wouldn't surprise me at all at this point if Sony, upon acquiring this AI company, put it on sleep mode and waits to see what Asha Sharma do, and then effectively follow those lines. It won't be, well, it shouldn't be a direct copy. They've learnt their lesson when it comes to that. But you can't for 1 second, if you're Sony, think that you can fluff your way through this. You either put your war boots on, roll your sleeves up and get down in the trenches and start working, or you stand on the sidelines barking orders at people who know infinitely more than you do. Herman Hulst isn't yet the emperor with no clothes. The problem for him is that we can see he's taking them off, one layer at a time, in public view. He stands to expose himself, and one can only ask how long it will be before Sony decide they've had enough. After all, it wasn't so long ago we were all saying how Xbox was dead, and now with the arrival of the bright smiling Asha Sharma, it's suddenly alive again. And with the various drip-drabs of news that she's been dropping, Gears of War Emergence Day being one of them. Is that what it's called, Emergence Day? I think it is. And I'm sat below a Lancer. So she got my attention. And all this talk of Xbox moving away from consoles and slowly killing itself by 1,000 cuts will be all but forgotten. And Sony will be left looking at the layoffs, the acquisition of an AI company, thinking to themselves, do like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It really would help. And until next time, bye-bye.